So, Amazon, kind of a shitty corporation, let's be real. But just how shitty are they? Well, here's another example of them being really fucking shitty. Amazon fires a cancer-stricken worker for kicking an empty box. Michael Verastro worked at a unionizing Amazon facility in Albany, New York. He is battling prostate cancer and will now lose his health insurance. Why? Because he kicked an empty box? Amazon managers at the company's unionizing warehouse in Albany, New York, have fired a 60-year-old cancer patient after an investigation confirmed that he kicked an empty box. I love this sentence. This part of the sentence really is incredible. An investigation confirmed that he kicked an empty box. The motherfuckers they had their magnifying glass out. They had their goddamn corncob pipe and they were puffing away and they were investigating whether or not he kicked an empty box. And then they did successfully investigate and confirm that an empty box was kicked. That is one hell of an investigation. Can we talk about the word investigation? Does investigation not mean anything anymore? Like, is investigation just like a word that has no, what is an investigation? Some guy says, hey, by the way, I kicked an empty box because I got frustrated, just letting you know. And you have to investigate? Like, he confessed immediately. Anyway, I'll get into this. When the incident occurred late last week, Michael Verastro was alone at a workstation and struggling with several pieces of malfunctioning equipment. So Amazon fucked him over and gave him broken, shitty equipment, and he got frustrated. Problems with scanners and printers had already required him to switch to a new workstation, and they were now putting him increasingly behind on a production quota that Amazon rigidly polices. Faced with yet another error, Verastro channeled his annoyance onto a chunk of hollow cardboard. So let me get this straight. He has a rigid quota that if he does not hit, he'll get fucked up. Amazon provides him with broken equipment, requiring him to work extra time. He gets frustrated, kicks an empty box, and they can him. Probably because they didn't want to pay for his fucking cancer treatment, I'm sure. And then they did an investigation. Like, what the fuck? What does investigation mean, man? Holy shit. Quote, I took it out on an empty box on the floor, Verastro told More Perfect Union, which is where I'm reading this from. I didn't take it out on another person. I didn't take out my anger or frustration on any individual. I took it out on a box. Conscious of disturbing his co-workers and concerned that the box he struck may have made contact with another box outside his workstation, Verastro said he quickly apologized to a fellow associate sitting nearby. The conversation was brief, he recalled, as she acknowledged her own frustration with the technology problems. Later, a supervisor approached Verastro and asked if he'd like to take a walk and discuss the incident. Discuss the incident? The motherfucking incident. With the empty box. The fucking incident. Instead, behind on his work, he opted to stay at the workstation. That's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. So you have a quota you have to hit regardless, no matter what, otherwise you get canned, right? They give you shitty equipment to turn an hour of work into 90 minutes of work, and then you pile on, you get way behind. Then you kick an empty box just to get away from it all, just to feel a little bit better about that, right? And then a supervisor asked you to take a walk. Motherfucker, if I don't hit my quota, I'm going to get fired. Take a walk? So they don't take a walk and they get fired for not taking the walk? What would the walk have entailed? What? The next day, feeling unwell from his cancer treatment, Verastro received permission to go home early. That would be the last time Verastro would step foot in the warehouse. He was suspended from work on Sunday before being terminated for allegedly violating the company's workplace violence, drug, and alcohol abuse policy. I mean, My question is, why does this Amazon warehouse still exist? That's my question. And also, workplace violence? Is workplace violence not providing a rigid quota and then also malfunctioning equipment so that hitting the quota is impossible and you have to work overtime for free? Is that workplace violence? No, of course not. Kicking an empty box. That's violence. Oh, boo-hoo. Violence has been enacted on this day. I have a question. What damage does kicking an empty box do? And my follow-up question, what is the difference between kicking an empty box and dropping an empty box? Or dropping a filled box on an empty box? What is the difference? If you drop an empty box and it gets dented, do you get fired? Just curious. Anyway, so you could read more of this in this guy's trying to work with the Amazon labor union now. But I mean, like, this is just another example of, like, Amazon and these other corporations, they know they're the bad guys. They're aware that they're the bad guys, and they wear it on their sleeve, and they're proud of it. They get that, like, they have, like, bad guy tattooed on their forehead. They think that's just rad as hell. These people are crazy. They're crazy. First of all, an investigation on an empty box is ridiculous. Second of all, providing people with inefficient technology to do their job and then firing them because they couldn't do their job is fucking ridiculous. These people are garbage. Human garbage. And whoever the manager is, whoever this fucking person who's like, oh, do you want to go on a walk or whatever? Fucking, I hope that they cry themselves to sleep every night because they're a piece of fucking dog shit. Everyone that fucking works at Amazon, like in the management, the higher ups, all that shit, they're all fucking human garbage. It's just, Jesus fucking Christ, man. Fired for kicking an empty box because your job didn't give you the necessary tools in order to actually do your job, but expected you to do it anyway, forcing you into an extremely emotionally violent situation. Is it not violence to tell someone you have to be finished doing this thing in 3 hours, but it requires 5 hours to do so because you gave them inefficient tools? Is that violence? Nah. Kicking an empty box, though. Holy shit, man. Everyone's freaked out. We got to investigate whether or not the box was kicked or the box was empty. Let's launch an investigation until we figure out what the hell is going on here. Jesus.